Good day again, everyone. We're here on a follow-up on creating a website, and we'll be tackling HTML images and links. HTML attributes are additional or extra information on how HTML elements will behave or are configured. We have to realize that every HTML element can have attributes. It's always placed in the opening tag and comes in a name-value pair. We can put multiple attributes and we just have to separate them with a space. Syntax is written as this. Example. This is an image HTML element, img. The first attribute is the src or the source of the image with a value avatar.png. Our second attribute is the alt or alternative text with a value of avatar. Now let's push through with our examples so we can discuss further on HTML images. There are at least 3 common image formats that we can use on the web. One is JPEG or Joint Photographic Export Group. These are great for embedding photos. 2 is PNG or Portable Network Graphics. These are usually non-photo images or illustrations. 3 is GIF or GIF or Graphics Interchange Format. These are like PNG with limited colors, though it can be animated. So this is our code from our last module. We are currently using an alternative to Notepad. This one is Visual Studio Code. On your Android, you can use an AnWriter or TrebEdit if you haven't downloaded it yet, or any Android app you've been recommended with that better suits you. Before we modify this one, let's try to run it on the browser and see what it will display initially. Sure. Text.html. Open it with Google Chrome. And there you have it, a simple text-laden web page. So let's put an image here by putting the image tag. Let's put a source attribute and then put a value. See. So in here, we have to take note that we have at least 3 source paths we can use. First is this, putting your image file name directly as the value. So with this, you have to make sure that both your HTML file and your image are in the same folder or location. So in here, it's not. So if we try to refresh it here in our browser, you can see an image placeholder instead of your intended image. So let's put the image in the folder then. So this is actually your image, avatar.1.png. Let's put it inside this folder together with the index.html, but they sit beside each other. So when we refresh it, there we finally get our image displayed. Second source path would be placing our image file inside a subfolder. Just like in here, we have an img folder. We'll move our image here. Then again, if we refresh our Chrome, we won't be seeing the image again. So what we'll do is change our source path. So let's include the image folder and just add the slash. Refresh, You haven't saved it yet. So there you have it again, displayed. The third source path is where we're getting our image directly from the internet. That is, we have to use the image's link address. Let's try to go to our web browser and try to search for an image. Images. Let's go pick this one up. Right click on the image. Copy the image address. Then place it here. Save. Then refresh. And there we have it. The image is displaying with the source path coming directly from the internet. However, a word of caution. Due to copyright issues, we can't do that right away unless we ask permission from its owner, or better yet, if you also own the image. Next, let's add some common attributes that you can use for the HTML image. One would be the height and width attributes. Let's put back our own image here first. Yeah. So, and then let's put the height and width attribute. Let's put 50 pixels for both. Save. And then now we have a scaled down image. There's another implementation to this that is much acceptable today. It's using the style attribute to render CSS. Instead of this, we'll put the style attribute. Save. And it's pretty much the same. We won't be discussing much on this now, but we'll surely expound on cascading style sheets the next time. Let's put another common attribute. Let's put the title attribute. Save it. Go in here. This will technically put a tooltip when we hover over our image. HTML links are also called hyperlink and by default appears to be underlined and colored blue. Syntax would be like this. This is the opening tag with A as in short for an anchor tag. This one is the closing tag. And the word hyperlink here is the content, which will be displayed on the browser. href is an attribute which means hyperlink reference. And this one is the value, which is its destination path to which web page will the user be taken when clicked. So let's go back here on our code editor. We're going to put an anchor tag here and closing the word information. We'll put here the href attribute. It's a hyperlink reference or destination path. Let's put info.html value. So we have to take note here that we have at least three destination paths we can use. First is putting another HTML page directly as the value. So we also have to make sure that both index.html and the info.html are in the same folder, or the info.html actually exists. In our case, info.html doesn't exist yet. So we save this and refresh our browser and click on our information link. What we'll have is a web page not found error, or in our case, since this is offline, you'll see a file couldn't be accessed when you click on the link. So let's create the info.html first. Put it in the same folder as our index.html. But the good thing about our code editor is it has its own file explorer. So we can create an HTML file right away. So we just have to right click here, new file, and then type info.html, enter. There you go. You just have to copy the content here, just to have a quick content, paste for in here, modify some content, then we'll have a servlet learning modules here. And save. We try to here, fresh, then click here. You have it. The info.html displayed. Second destination path would be placing our HTML file inside a subfolder. So let's add a content folder here in our Explorer. So name it as content. Let's drag our content, our info.html to the content. Let's have deleted. Let's have it opened. So in here, if we try to refresh and then click the information, we'll have another file couldn't be accessed error. So we have to put the content folder here and then slash save, and then for our info.html, this another in or another. But at the same time, we have to change the value for image source, because since we move the info.html inside the content folder, then we have to traverse back from the content folder to the location of the index.html. So we have to do that by putting two dots. That way it will traverse back and then go to the image and avatar png. You have to save this and then try to this one again, back here, index.html, and when we click, then have it again. So the third destination path is if we point directly on a URL on the internet. So let's try to go to our web browser. Let's try to copy this. Our index here. Save. Let's try to refresh. Index. Then when we click on the information link, what we'll have is the Google Classroom. So now let's add some common attributes that you can use for HTML links. Let's try to put the target attribute. But first, let's put it back to our info.html. Save it. Then move our info.html back where that our index.html is located. This one. Let's reopen it again. And then let's put the attribute. And put a value underscore blank. So try to go back again, our index page. And then if we click here, you'll notice that if you click information link, it will pop up on the other tab instead of just showing on the same tab. So they are in the same location ready. So if we refresh this, go. So let's put another attribute, and that would be the title attribute. So save. So when we hover over our information link, a tooltip pops up. So that's all for today. Have a great day and see you next week.